in this year's draft, where it seems like everyone's trying to get those long wins that
Yeah,
can do so much.
I mean the NBA is it's positionless, not just our team. Every team is going that way. You got to have a lot of playmakers, a lot of long defenders that can guard multiple positions. And Rui he checks all those boxes. I mean, he plays hard. Has a big-time skill set, and he can guard multiple positions, and he can score different areas on the floor. But we're excited about having him.
You've been known with your staff in the past for the work you do with local players. So what you guys did with Thomas Brown last year, how excited are you to get your hands on, I mean, essentially a big baller play in Rui?
Yeah, just like last summer, we saw TB. Thomas Bryant came in and gave us great work, and we knew that we're going to develop this guy because he works hard. Rui's going to be the same way. Our staff loves these opportunities. These are challenges that we're going to look forward to facing, and having a guy that his effort, his enthusiasm for the game, and his skill set is like a coach's dream, and we can't wait to get started.
I know some people talk about the lack of play to a degree. He does work in a mid-range area. It's quite important. So him already being comfortable with that.
Yeah, I've heard those complaints that he doesn't shoot enough threes. You do what your coach asks, and I think that's part of being a good teammate. It's part of being a good player, and you're coachable. Does he score around the basket at a high level? Absolutely. We don't want to take that away, or the mid-range. The mid-range is not lost. You just don't want to take bad, quick mid-range shots. But he's a smart basketball player, and his range is going to extend out, and it's going to take some time, but we're very patient with him.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Focus TV. We are here at bliss.fm, being seen also on DC TV. Got Octavia Wyatt, Cardell Dudley, Wilson Tarpey Jr. And as you guys saw from Scott Brooks, we spoke to him. We got a chance to speak to him right after Rui Hachimura's introductory press conference to the Washington, D.C. media. So that was fun. You can also get the finestmag.com, onesports.com, our YouTube pages to check out his press conference in its entirety. Also, some draft night videos with both Tommy Shepard and Scott Brooks talking about the selection the Washington Wizards made with the 9th overall pick in this year's first round of the 2019 NBA draft. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the draft, obviously. Summer League's literally right here. Cardell, another big event you attended. Looking forward to see who made the list. You gotta come up with like a catchy name for your list. We gotta work on that. 9450, Jamal Hayward's back yet again with another installment. DC United's like almost month-long break from MLS play pretty much expires, so things go back to kind of usual starting tomorrow. And then obviously we're gonna have some rapid fire, which is always fun. But as we promised with the NBA segment, NBA draft recap, man, we're not gonna sit here and go over the entire draft. We're adults here. We've been through this. So just want to ask you guys just your overall thoughts on the draft, some picks that stood out to you, some really good fits, or even some picks that you didn't like. Whoever wants to go first.
For me, it kind of set a precedent that they went with upperclassmen, guys that were seasoned, more mature, ready to come in and just contribute right away. Not saying they're going to be stars or, just set the league on fire. But if you put them in the game, they're going to be in a rotation and they're going to make an impact somehow. And I think you kind of see that shift with the NBA where they're getting tired of projects or, immature guys where they come in and you have to baby them. You have to coach them up. And you honestly show them how to be a man. Because they've been so entitled at the younger ages, once their talent kind of exploded, and the NBA just said they had enough of that. And this NBA, it was so many players that were so close together in talent and position and size, whatever you want to call it, that it came down to that and your character. You see what I'm saying? So they don't have time for that, and I respect it. It's just you got to put yourselves in their shoes. If you're a coach or GM of an NBA team, it's a shorter leash on those guys more than ever. Why am I going to put my livelihood on the line for a youngin that may, become someone, but we not for sure. Whereas I got an older college player who's ready to come in right away, knows how to work, won't complain, knows it's a business, and is just more mature. He's more of a man and ready to come in and contribute. Even if he may not become a star, we just saw the Raptors win with, I know Kawhi is a star, but he developed into that. He was another one. He came after 2 years, but he was the one that developed into that. But mainly they got a lot of guys who stayed in school 2-3 years, came from international, put in work, seasoned guys that knew how to play and knew how to win. And that's why they were able to, win championships. And honestly, the Warriors, that's how they built their nucleus. Guys that stayed in school for a number of years, 3-4 years, came out and they were seasoned. So, I think they're starting to get back to that, unless you just got a, generational talent, right. One and done, kind of like what you saw, Zion, potentially RJ Barrett, guys like that. But that's the thing that stood out to me the most.
Xavier?
I think it stood out to me the most, of course, talking about the team here, was the Wizards pick. Just the fact that they didn't really work him out. They didn't really talk to him much. To me, it's always just a head scratcher, just slightly, just because, a lot of times when you're going through the draft, you want to think, of course, of none of us actually being in the draft room and everything, just to know that they vetted him properly, they, broke down his game, and they feel like that he would be a good fit for them. It just was kind of strange for me, just because you don't really hear that often, picking a player that you never actually brought in, worked out, looked at, like, up close and personal, came around the arena, however they want to do their walkthroughs. But if they believe in it, we'll see how it goes. I think he has a good chance of doing well in the NBA. I feel like he still has some things he needs to learn, but he's a big guy. He's still young, first Japanese player ever drafted. That's going to be a great, story, of course. And I also like the Bulls' pick of Kobe White. I felt like they needed a point guard. And, they were always, of course, playing on the fact that 35 years ago that they drafted somebody from Carolina to go to the Bulls. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, people. But I think it's a good pick for him. He seems like a point guard that can run a system. I just think it's going to, of course, take him as well as all of the rookies that just got drafted a little bit of time to actually get acclimated to the NBA game. But yeah, all in all, I feel like it was a pretty good draft. I'm just ready for July 5th for the kickoff of the first Summer League games out in Vegas. That's what I'm looking forward to see them actually on the court and see how they are, acclimating through this little bit of time they've actually been in the NBA.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up about Rui with the Wizards, because I'm so happy you brought that up. So happy, because like the initial reaction that people had, it was met with such, and that's the thing, like you said, I love how you said it, you just didn't know, right? Versus someone going, oh my God, what are they doing? Cool, hearing Tommy talk, this is something where they've been following this kid for a while.
Right.
But obviously, we watch the Spurs or other good organizations do what they do. Just because they don't blast it and share it to everybody doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on. And this is one of those things where I've been talking to a couple people and I've talked to you about this as well, just like with this area with teams, when organizations kind of start doing functional things or behaving in a functional manner, I don't think fans here know how to properly accept it, right? Everyone's like, oh, go get someone else. There's nothing wrong with what they picked. Literally what you started off the show talking about. That's, for all those reasons, is why DeAndre Hunter went 4. Is why Rui went 9. Those things matter. We've had those type of dudes here before where the talent was obviously undeniable, but whether in terms of it coming to fruition, it still hasn't in some of those cases, even though they're not here. But one of the things we do know, those guys that come in and work hard, have that mentality, lunch pail, hard hat, it's much easier to rest as a front office, as a coach, even as teammates, knowing that I don't have to worry about young boy coming in to get work in. I don't have to worry if they're focused, if they're worried about the off the court stuff. They're locked in, they're ready to go. You brought up Kawhi developing. When we grew up watching, people ate in college, but there were just as many people that they put the work in to develop in college. Everybody wasn't a ready-made guy. And we're getting back to that place. And I think what messed it up was the microwave society we're in, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody, remember the whole thing with quarterbacks that takes 3 or 4 years in NFL, and then people like throwing that away in the last couple years. In the NBA, I felt like we thrown that away like 8 years ago. Every year, we go forward. People like, oh, they got to go. No, it can take time. It's fine. But the thing is, if it takes time, then the character definitely matters. The maturity definitely matters, because then it's more likely to come to fruition if all those other things are in place. But when it's a bunch of talent and those other things aren't in place, there's so many cases where, yeah, you're talented, yeah, you get multiple chances, but what comes out of it?
And then just to piggyback what you said and what you said, people gotta stop reading headlines. Not you, but Twitter and people hit me up on social media. Just gotta stop. You gotta know who to listen to, which reports to listen to, and what reports not to listen to. Yeah, they didn't bring him in to work out. They've been scouting for the last 2 years.
And also they tried to...
No. Listen what Tommy said. He even brought up what he did, the damage he did in FIBA when he was carrying Japan so they could qualify for the World Cup. That's how I know how long they've been watching them. So that's when it matters most. For real, all these workouts are you just basically going through a workout. Nobody on you. What are you really gonna see through that? You see for real during the game, doing game action. Who did they beat early in the season in Maui? Duke.
Yep.
The whole world was there watching. I mean, everybody saw that game. That's what matters to me. You see what I'm saying? It'd be different if like we brought him in to work out and man, we ain't really check him all year. Then I'll be nervous because I'm just like, man, you ain't see him in real live conversation. He said this draft night. Also, Brooks and him said on draft night, we talked to his head coach for the last few days, including this morning, Mark Few. So they're doing their due diligence. Even Tommy made a joke like, you can't shoot threes, right? He was like, yeah. You see headlines, man, this dude can't even, he don't even know if he can shoot threes, really. So you really,
I saw those headlines.
like, that's what people trying to twist us into. I'm like, you really think it's a front office? Like, come on, man, he's an interim GM. You really think he been in the game for almost 30 years? He's going to put his livelihood on the line just all, really think about this. People, that's what I mean, people just take dumb, negative comments and just run with it. I mean, I even had people over the weekend come up to me like, how the Wizards going to draft somebody they don't know? People, I'm looking at them like, you should know better, dog. You a coach. You been in the media business how long? You should know better. And y'all gonna just believe this? Come on, man. Like, really think before y'all, like, come on now. You don't, it's, to me, they knew they liked him.
Yep.
They used their time to check out other guys they may not have known or seen.
That's a good point, yeah.
The most, take advantage of that to bring in just to see, all right, maybe if he's better and all that. And one thing he did say, it was a couple guys in that group we looked at. You know what I'm saying? But it depends on who got drafted before.
Yeah, but who's available at the
exactly.
time, yeah.
So, you know, I know for a fact they love Kobe, but he got snatched up. So you got to adjust. You know what I'm saying? So that was the other guy that they liked. They went with him. He's versatile. He could defend. He could do a lot of different things. And one thing that I'm pretty sure they knew inside, you know, keeping it inside or whatever, he said he played with Bill at the Nike Academy out there last summer. Yep. He ran with him.
Yep.
They was going against each other. So I'm pretty sure, and Bill was at draft night, even though people ain't seen him. He was in the back shelling and all that. So I'm pretty sure they've been giving feedback. He's been at the workouts too. So I'm pretty sure they got feedback off him. This is stuff the public don't know that me and you will know and stuff like that. We may not broadcast it. So yes, we were comfortable with the pick and stuff like that. Not just to mention his resume, obviously what he did, the efficiency. But the man only lost 11 games in 3 years. He don't know what losing is like. So he not about to come. And for a team that has a losing coach, he's coming in here like, I ain't used to this, dog. We ain't about to have
that.
So that's what they're looking for. I like the pick. Sometimes it ain't about just trying to look for a superstar come in. If you get one, fine. How about you get some players? You got a couple of those already. All they got to do is stay healthy. How about you get some players that could be superstars in their role and complement those guys so you can start winning.
And that's been the problem here, is getting those guys to be superstars in their role. And when you get those mature college players, it's easy. I feel like it's easier for them to understand. For me to have this job, I need to accept my role.
And it ain't just him. I even like that second round pick, Admiral. They traded into the second round to get him. He beat Gonzaga. He hit the game winner. He's a problem. They're not talking about him enough. So these guys been scouting. That's what you pay scouts for. They're at the games. They give you information, give you feedback. So people just need to just really think before they just take little clippings. And I noticed how they just took that part of his whole presser and just ran with it. They ain't take nothing else. Just to create a story,
like,
to get clicks and views.
If you wound that tape, wound that presser 3 seconds prior, you couldn't even make the headline. Like, literally, if you just moved it back 3 seconds.
And not even just Tommy. Look at Scott Brooks' resume. Have you forgotten what he did at OKC?
I think everybody has. We talk about it.
KD's a special case, fine, I'll give you that. Russ wasn't seen as a future MVP, otherwise he'd win number one. James Harden wasn't seen as a future MVP, he would have won number one. Ibaka, nobody knew who Ibaka was unless you was a real basketball head and stuff like that. So you didn't know that. Drafted Jeff Green out of Georgetown. See what I'm saying? All these guys he drafted, they developed, and look at the damage they're doing. How about you people just give it time, man?
And the other thing is, I would also implore you guys just to have some patience on trying to decide. I've seen so many people trying to put Rui in a box already in terms of like player comps.
He stepped on the court.
Exactly. Like just stop. One of the things I do like about him, his footwork is really clean for somebody who picked up basketball late, which I love. Like he's really cool. His fundamentals are solid. And shout out to Gonzaga and that coaching staff for someone who picked up the sport late. Like, we talk about the importance of fundamentals all the time.
And one last thing, I know Bobo slept, which I need to keep an eye on Denver. I love what the Atlanta Hawks did, but keep an eye on Denver. Denver and Connolly's and his brother like the Jones too. Like they not playing around. Because if Bobo stays healthy, Porter's coming back, and not just him. Vanderbilt. People forgot about Vanderbilt. He was another top prospect that got hurt that they kept on injury reserve, developing all that. Those guys pan out to be what they're gonna be on top of what they have. It's gonna be bad.
You know what Denver's like? Denver's like that extra year of college.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
no, that's it.
No, it's a
Literally,
good
like,
thing, yeah.
I
Michael
mean,
Porter Jr. obviously didn't want to come to NBA with an injury.
bruh,
You got a
yes.
whole year with NBA staff.
bruh. Millsap was on the older side, so he got a few years, possibly with his team left, whatever. But keep him included. You got a front court of Jokic, who's an MVP candidate, Millsap, Porter, Vanderbilt, who's 6'10", Lamar Odom clone, and then you got Bobo, who's 7'2", who can step out and come on, man, it's about to be unfair, and people on.
We're not even talking about the bevy of guards over there.
I know that. You put in, it's bad, man. Like I said, so I love what they did on draft night, taking a chance on that, because they can afford to.
Mm-hmm.
I love what the Hawks did, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish. They came out real quick, and even the Pelicans, what they did.
Yes.
It's just, that's what you do now. That's why when people saying when the Lakers made that trade, and it was just like, you don't know who these picks gonna be. I'm like, bruh. It's a new day. They're valuing these second round picks because of the two-way contracts, and also every team pretty much has a G League team, so you could develop them, bring them up, season them, and get them ready. Whereas before it's just like, I don't know, they're gonna be overseas and they may not quite develop for the NBA game. So that's an asset. That's an added weapon. You just give it time. So look, man, you can't. Those picks come back to be valuable. I mean, look at what the Raptors just won with undrafted second round guys, a whole lot of them. So the proof is in the pudding.
Yep, and summer league's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Obviously, the young, all the youngsters we already talked about, got some fun veterans on rosters too. Where in a year with some of the stuff that's going on with so many fluid rosters and people, getting ready to make these big, the sweepstakes and the Supermax sweepstakes for some of these high-priced free agents.
Right.
Those veterans in summer league got a chance. You can't fill out your roster with top-notch talent all the way up and down. The salary cap just doesn't work like that.
Right.
So opportunities in summer league, I think summer league will be extra competitive. Should be so much fun. Oh man, all right, on to the Washington Mystics. Last time we saw them here in DC, they kind of, it wasn't good. They lost a close game to Seattle Storm, a game they should have won, a game they were up by double digits in the fourth quarter and that brought them to 4-3. One of the things Cardell and I've talked about ad nauseum for this year was literally their defense. And will it travel? And the importance of it. On this 3-game road trip, it's a 4-game road trip, but they're 3-0 thus far. They play Chicago tomorrow at noon. Get into Chicago a little bit later, but their defense, during this win streak, they beat the Los Angeles Sparks 81-52. The Aces 95-72, and the Atlanta Dream 89-73. You don't do that if you're not playing defense.
Not on the road.
Cardell, I want to go ahead and let you share your thoughts on that, and I got some things to add afterwards.
I mean, it ain't just their defense. You also see Deladon stepping up on the road, trying to get them out the slump or not. But like I said, for me, I like what I'm saying. They just got to stay consistent. For me, it's just about them winning on the road, because last year they were dominated at home. Went on the road, they was iffy. They punched teams in the mouth, and they're beating potential contenders. And, it's a team effort. It's just they're swarming on defense. We kind of seen it in the stretches at home, it's outside a couple games, but they're taking it on the road they're spreading the ball. And it's not just Deladon and all that. I see Atkins shooting well. Christy Tolliver, she's getting in when she fit in. The bench is still doing well. You know, Shatori, Tiana, I know Latoya Sanders and whatnot. But I just said with regard to the Wizards, they're mastering their roles. They're being superstars in their roles, and that's what is paying dividends. And they're playing for one another. So the fact that they can just keep winning on the road, obviously they got an advantage at home. I think they're gonna cruise at home a lot of nights. You know, keep piling on wins because they got to keep up with Connecticut, and that's a big game coming up Saturday. You know, between them and Connecticut. And Connecticut kind of gave it to them, you know, early in the season of the Connecticut. So, try to secure home court. You know what I'm saying? That'll be with the home court they have. That would be pivotal for them to try to make a championship run where everybody has to come to DC. And so why not go for it? It's within reach and go grab it, go get it.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, the importance of home court would be for them.
And isn't Emma about to come back soon?
It's still a couple weeks away,
All right.
but because they're just about to finally start playing in the competition that she went on in for. But they've given up just 65 points per game over the last 3 games, which is wonderful when you're scoring 88 points a game. Mm-hmm. As you said, with the scoring, Atkins averages 16 per, Christy at 14, Elena at 19, Tiana Hawkins, who doesn't get enough credit, 14 a game, been very consistent as a scorer off the bench. And they've done a good job of not turning the ball over as much. And as you talked about the big matchup on Saturday at home, I want everyone to not overlook their matchup with Chicago tomorrow.
Yeah,
Chicago started slow, and they've started to find themselves since. They lost the first 3 games of the season. They've ripped off a 4-game win streak already, and they just handed Connecticut a loss.
Time of the shoes. Man,
and you know, we talked about this in that preview over at Finest Mag. Jontel Lavender, that experience you're seeing her impact play off with those youngsters, and then you still have, you know, that very special backcourt. They're just in a good groove right now. And as it pertains to the standings, and you just mentioned home court.
1 game behind.
Yep.
Half a game, my bad.
Like those top 3 teams, all from the East, they're all within half a game or a game and a half with each other. So Washington, ideally, you can't drop tomorrow's game against Chicago, and you definitely don't want to lose to Connecticut again, because that would mean you pretty much lost the season series.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Cardell, I know you got a lot. I want to see who made that list for you, man.
Okay.
And you guys are watching Focus TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Focus TV. DMV live at DeMatha. Cardell, as always, somewhere in the gym. Go ahead, tell us who made the list, man.
As everyone knows, the NCAA changed the rules. So a lot of, you know, it's not as many live periods. So you basically have 2 main weekends where you have to, you know, college coaches get to recruit players. They get to come to the gym and check them out. And this is a significant setup, whereas, you know, shout out to Capital Hoops and DeMatha that they came together with, along with the WCAC, who sponsored the event. And they held it at DeMatha, where they would invite all teams in the area to come play like 3 games a day, 2-3 games a day, from last Friday to last Sunday, in front of college coaches. I think it was around, from what I saw on the list, I think around 50 to 70 programs in the gym at one point or another throughout the weekend. The only negative part that sucks, and I have to bring this up, and it has nothing to do with the event, in Maryland public schools weren't allowed to play in it. And I also learned Virginia public schools weren't allowed to play in it as well. So, because they didn't sign off on it, which is disheartening coming from, you know, former guy coming from like Friendly High School, from a public school. How are you going to get these kids opportunity? Because, I mean, like, they play against the DeMatha, so to speak, and they drop 30. That might be their one chance to get a scholarship that's been taken away for no reason. And from what I'm hearing from talking to a lot of people, it was just merely just signing a form by the powers that be, and they just didn't do it. So that was disheartening. They have to change that. But all in all, the event was first class. Shout out to, Capital Hoops who took care of us. DeMatha, the setter, Mike Jones, who's always been supportive, man, great guy. I love the event. Everything was on time. Teams got in there, they competed. Coaches right there. There was no excuses. It's a show and prove. And during that entire weekend, I came Saturday. I just stayed the whole day just to check it out. Watched multiple players just to see who stood out. And here's some names that definitely caught my eye. Some familiar, some new. Ace Baldwin, point guard of St. Francis. He's a senior. VCU commit. To me, he's in the mix. If he's not, the best floor general in the area. His shooting has improved. Mid range, he's pulling up, no hesitation, knocking it down. But the thing that I love, he can dominate the game without scoring the basketball at all, just by passing. And he can score off minimum shots and still be a threat. And the thing that does not get enough credit when it comes to him is his ability to defend. He'll lock you down. They played Paul VI first, and he gave those guards hell. And those guards were really a non-factor, and he was switching on different guards. Whoever he switched on, they would just be quiet. It was like, what happened to him? And then as soon as he come out the game or switch back, then they'd start making plays. And that's why he's perfect for what's going on at VCU. It was a great choice for him to go down there. I've always been a fan, but I just kind of see the game starting to slow down for him, where he understands in its entirety what a point guard is supposed to bring at different times. Once he masters it, the sky's the limit. Another guy, Tyler Brailsford, point guard, Mount St. Joseph, 6'3". George Washington commit, so I'm going to see a lot of him soon. Crafty ball handler, finisher, who has excellent court vision in the past, and that's one thing. I've seen clips and stuff of him. That's one thing that jumped out, and I saw him when he was younger. I didn't know he could pass the ball like that. Like, he's dominant with it, and he makes his teammates better. And the thing that jumps out, he's elite at controlling the pace. Even he could play either way, fast or slow, but he slows the game down depending on who's in the game and who his weapons are around him. And he controls that, which gives his team, even though they might run up against teams more talented, by him slowing the pace down, controlling the game, it gives them a chance to win. And that's rare for young players. Once he gets stronger and extends his range out to three, his overall impact will elevate greatly. I'm excited to see what he does at the next level at GW. Hunter Dickinson was by far probably the player of the weekend. I've talked many times about a 7-foot center, out of DeMatha as a senior, for people that don't know. Highly skilled. He always had that skill since 8th grade. Could step out, hit the three, dangerous in the high post, can draw passes to anybody, backdoor cuts, can turn around, stop and pop, shoot the mid-range. But that wasn't what jumped out. His athleticism was starting to catch up. This weekend they played Bullets. He was just drop stepping and dunking on 2-3 dudes like he Shaq out there. It was bad. I think the game against Bullets, he had 25 points at 12 or 15 shooting, 1 for 3 from 3, like 9 or 10 dunks. Just dunking on him. And he can run the floor. He's faster. He's more explosive just all around, because he was even running the floor and beating everybody down the court for dunks. Normally he a lumber, you can catch up with him, whatever like that, or they have to slow for him. No, he can run with the breakdown. So I'm like, man, if that catches up with everything else that he got, he can be playing 82 games real soon. It's just a no-brainer. He had 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 blocks in the win over Bullets. But against Paul VI, 31 points at 13 to 23 shooting, 19 rebounds and 4 blocks.
Dominated.
Just dominated. Many offers. He just got one from North Carolina. It's wherever you want to go. It's just that simple. But just now that his athleticism is catching up, everything's starting to come together, and he's starting to be complete. He basically has everything now, and he's unstoppable. So I expect him just to dominate his senior year. Trevor Kills, Paul, the 6'5" guard, junior in 2021 class, smooth shooting wing. Reminds me a lot of Paul Pierce. Sneaky athleticism, highly skilled, efficient scoring the ball, solid defender. Like I say, he's not the most explosive player, but he gets the job done. He knows how to use his size and strength and get to spots on the floor where opponents basically at his mercy. He can just rise up and shoot over him and knock it down. Milton Matthews Jr., Rock Creek, 6'4", senior. He might be the best shooter in the area, sniper. Just like we talk about Steph and Clay, being able to score off the bounce, on the move, spotting up. He has all of that. You know, he has to improve his playmaking for others, but being a consistent defender. But you know, hands down, he's one of the most explosive scorers and shooters in the area. He posted 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists on 8 of 12 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3, and a win over good counsel. So that kind of tells you how deadly he is if he gets any daylight, it's over. You know what I'm saying? So you can't give him any space. Eric Reynolds for Bullets, 6'2" guard in the class of 2021. He's a special two-way guard. He had 15.6 rebounds and 2 assists in the loss at DeMatha, but he was fearless attacking Hunter and all those guys. You know, he swarmed guys on defense. Outside of a guy I'm gonna talk about soon, Earl Timberlake, you know, he locked up a lot of DeMatha guards, and you know they had trouble with him. He can score from all 3 levels, has a nice handle. He's athletic and hard to stop in transition. The thing that stuck out with me, nobody outside Timberlake, like I said, could guard him from DeMatha. Like, they couldn't deal with him. He was literally getting past them at will. So expect him to have an all-match season. He's that good. He's fairly young. His backcourt mate, Rodney Rice, 6'3", point guard, 170. He's in the 2022 class. He's even younger. Rising sophomore. He caught my eye with his all-around impact. He's a pass-first point guard, but he can score. You know, he showed he could shoot from D, get to the basket off the bounce consistently. Against DeMatha, he had 23 points and 3 rebounds and 7 of 17 shooting. That was the other backcourt that they stayed in the game until Hunter just came in and just overwhelmed them late in the game. But it was a close game for most of the night. You know, he had great shooting, and like I said, just like him outside Timberlake, he had to keep switching between the 2 guards for Bullets because no one on DeMatha could really keep those guys in front of him. While he only had 1 assist, he set up his teammates in prime scoring position time after time, but they just couldn't convert. His combination of size, skill, toughness, and you know, it's a sight to see. So keep an eye on this kid moving forward. Ja'Kai Robinson, 6'4" point guard, National Christian Academy in the 2021 class, playmaker lefty with a smooth mid-range game. He's automatic once he gets to a spot in the mid-range, elevates for a jumper, especially off the bounce. You know, solid rebounder and defender. Robinson's definitely in the mix as one of the top guards in the area. Another big man, Audrey Screens, my first time seeing him. 6'10" center in the 2020 class out of St. Stephen's, St. Agnes. He's raw, but he's physically gifted. He's very athletic for his size. He can run the floor well. He can defend on the perimeter. Obviously, pick and roll is big now at all levels. He can get out on the perimeter, guard guards, and get back in the paint to protect the basket. And he finishes well inside. He has a soft touch. He has a couple post moves as well inside. He just has to expand his game out on the perimeter, and he'll be fine. He's an elite rebounder. When I mean by athletic, he's quick with the second jump off the ground. So if you don't get it, he's quick to tip. And obviously with his size, he's more than likely going to get the board. Against Baltimore powerhouse St. Francis, he was plagued by foul trouble, which limited him to 12 minutes of game action. He still posted 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks on 6 of 12 shooting. So that just tells you about his potential, in 12 minutes. So, they barely lost, too. So that just tells you how dominant he is. So he's going to help him. He's going to be a major factor for a program moving forward. Earl Timberlake, I said I was going to get to him. He probably put on the best show over the weekend, 6'6" guard out of DeMatha in the 2020 class. He just picked up an offer from North Carolina as well from this weekend. They got him running point now, which I was laughing at because now, obviously, he loves to drive past you because he's explosive and he's strong. He's bigger than most guards, but no one's really had an answer for him. Now that he has added a reliable three-point shot, it still has ways to go, but you have to recognize and go contest. As one college coach told me, it's opened up the floor for him. So now it's just you kind of at his mercy. Timberlake scored and facilitated at will as well. He was, strong defender all weekend. And the win over Bullets, like I just said, had a dangerous backcourt of their own. Timberlake posted 13 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists on 4 of 8 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3 with 1 turnover in 25 minutes. That's how flawless he is. Keep in mind, this is the first time he's playing point.
I was just going to ask you, how's his feel for it? Is he?
Yeah, he can pass. He got it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you kind of see that over the years with DeMatha. Like, first it was Markell, then Moore was behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Then it was Moore turn last. Justin Moore's turn last year. He was at Villanova. It was his turn last year. Earl was kind of on the sideline. Well, not sideline, but running the two or whatever like that. Now it's his time. He got the ball in his hands, and it's pain. It's bad. So He was flawless, and it shows just where he is with his game being so complete. And I just think it's just going to make him blossom. Wherever college he chooses to, then, you know, they damn sure getting a player. And Jamal West, a forward, 6'6", 220 out of St. Francis, senior. Just a walking double-double. As soon as he wake up, just pencil in a double-double. You know, despite being undersized, his motor, length, and athleticism make up for it. I don't care what's down there, 7-footers, whatever. He's going to get the double-double. 6'6". He's a very good athlete, ability to knock down the mid-range jumper, consistently finishes strong inside. He's explosive enough to dunk in traffic, regardless of the size of the front curl. He crashes the boards like a madman. In a win over Paul VI, West scored 17 points, grabbed 19 rebounds, 10 offensive. So, you know, that's just a great example, you know what I'm saying? So, a few more names just to keep an eye on moving forward. Jules McCoy out of St. Mary's, Riken, 6'4" guard. Garrett Brennan, 6'1" point guard. St. Stephen's St. Agnes in the 2022 class. Philip Carter, 6'6", out of Good Counsel, senior. Javante Brown Ferguson, 6'11", center, Mount St. Joe's, 2021 class. Josiah Freeman, 6'4" guard. Paul VI out of 2020. Keno Lilly, 6'2" guard out of Landon in the 2021 class. African Bez Bing, there you go. Guard 6'3", 175 out of Good Counsel in the 2021 class. Julian Reese, who's the brother of Angel Reese, you know, the top prospect out of St. Francis. There's a younger brother, 6'10" forward out of St. Francis, 2021 class. Keep an eye on him. Alex Saul, 6-foot point guard out of Landon, 2022 class. Paul Smith, who I believe is the X factor for DeMatha, because everybody's going to focus on Hunter and Earl Dickinson. This is the guy, if he produced, they got a chance of making that a lot of national noise. 6'8" forward out of DeMatha, he's a senior. And Deshaun Harris-Smith, 6'4" guard, 185, 2023 class. Paul VI, freshman, special. He's going to rewrite the books.
6'4", 185 already?
Yeah, freshman.
Yikes. What are they beating these kids?
I heard that. I was like, this is a grown man with already.
Hey, dog.
185 is a freshman?
Yeah, man.
Yeesh. All right. As always, get over to finestmag.com. You want a little bit more on the DMV live at DeMatha. Oh, man. All right, Piss League. Power rankings. Before we get to that, I just want to say I got a chance to see the women's portion of week 3. Man, it's like 4 teams that are definitely going to have a say in how the women's side of this plays out no matter what. There's a lot of talent. Oh, my gosh, there's a lot of talent. There's a couple teams where it's almost positionless. They get the board, the bigs get the board, they pushing it, and man, it was fun to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed my time down there this Saturday. I definitely don't regret. I didn't regret the drive, not one bit this week at all. How about that? Also, being closer makes me feel a little bit better. But on week 3, spoiler alert, if you don't follow us on social media, Cardell's been trying to tell y'all, there's been movement, folks.
Yeah,
So,
movement.
we're going to go ahead, Rodney, it's all you. We're going to put these things up on the screen, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right, as we told you guys, week 3 Pitts League Power Rankings. Cardell, you been enjoying putting that together?
I mean, yeah. No, it just, I mean, you know, guys gonna start saying stuff eventually, but I'll show up and play. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it for granted because, It ain't no good to be like 16th, sit the last place 16 out of 16 teams and stuff like that. That ain't cool.
And you
That
get
is not
reminded
fun.
about it each and every Tuesday.
Oh yeah, because
So,
you know they gonna talk about it.
like Cardell says, you get to control that.
Yeah, come and win. Just like baseline, they number one. I know J&R's mob is defending champs. They're undefeated 1-0, but they haven't played recently. Baseline just beat core. They smacking everybody, so they deserve that number one spot. Simple as that.
Wish you guys could be part of the collaboration sometimes and figure this stuff out.
And Rob involved with it too.
Yeah.
He hit me up when I sent it to him. Just give me the info to games I don't make and stuff like that to see who's doing what. So.
All right, Jamal Hayward, 9-4-50 breakdown. This week, he's demoing the different ways to create space with dribbling. Again, the different ways to create space with dribbling. That's going to be followed by our second break. Then we get back, little DC United update, and see whatever Cardell got cooking for us in rapid fire.
Step over. Step toward it. On drag. Sometimes you'll catch the ball with your back to that. So you catch it with your back to that. Here. Use your butt. In my line, doesn't that work? Okay. So, here, you want to press it on me and push me. Use your butt. Get off me. Okay, you can open up. Have a shot. Jab. Pump fake. Whatever you want to do. So, again, extend the ball out and use your ass. Long create space. Step over. Step toward it. On drag. Sometimes you'll catch the ball with your back to that. So you catch it with your back to that. Here. Use your butt. In my line, doesn't that work? Okay. So, here, you want to press it on me and push me. Use your butt. Get off me. Okay, you can open up. Have a shot. Jab. Pump fake. Whatever you want to do. So, again, extend the ball out and use your ass.
All right, as always, thank you to Jamal Hayward over at 9-4-50, man. We truly appreciate it. He's catching up to our episode count with the installments of the 9-4-50 breakdown. DC United update, as I said a little bit earlier, that almost month-long break as it pertains to MLS play comes to an end. They host Orlando City SC tomorrow night. DC United hasn't won in their last 5 games, but they also drew 4 of those games. So they haven't won, but it was literally 4 draws and 1 L. Despite that, they currently sit 3rd in the East with a record of 7-4-6. Paul Areola and Junior Moreno aren't available due to international duties. But, Cardell, the floor is yours, man. What you got for us this week with Rapid Fire? Anxiously waiting.
One that may hit home with you. The Celtics appear set to lose, Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, the free agency. Obviously, that opened up a lot of cap space. They need a point guard, and of course, they're eyeing Kemba Walker, as Mark Stein and the New York Times reports. Do you think that's a destination that Kemba should consider?
Oh, it's on me?
Yeah, that's your man.
I thought, wow.
There you go. Yeah. There you go, Octavian.
And we're supporting this.
You get the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually funny. I was talking with Jarrell earlier today, right? And I literally brought up Boston as a team. This before I saw the report or whatever. Just because what I was thinking was, if you're Boston, right? You got those 2 wings. You want to maximize what you have with those 2 right there. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to go get a really young point guard. At this time, I don't believe it does if you want to maximize the time you have with those 2, because you're going to have to pay those 2 eventually. However you cut it, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are going to get paid. They're going to, deservingly so as well. But if you're able to get Kemba over there, right? Although I think I was talking about possibly a sign and trade, but either way, I think it fits. I don't know if Kemba will, from Kemba's standpoint, I don't know what he's looking for. But for Boston, I don't think it's a bad look. It kind of gets you back to kind of something similar. Obviously, I'm not saying him and IT are the same player, But in regards of a point guard that can score and play off the ball at times, where I think it could fit with Jalen and Jason, where just because Kemba doesn't have the ball doesn't mean he can't still be a threat.
Right.
And it still provides another shooter on the floor. Also, it opens things up for Kemba, too. It's another person to add stress on a defense and just make it to where you can't really send two at any one of the three without someone paying for it. So, I mean, I wouldn't knock it. I wouldn't consider it like the worst thing in the world if you're Boston. It's kind of retooling instead of kind of like really stepping back, especially if you got to take advantage of, Kyrie's probably out the door per multiple reports and whatever's going on with Al Horford. So I wouldn't knock it.
I agree. I think they, like you said, they definitely need like a veteran point guard, somebody that can kind of come in and lead them, which is something that they feel like they would probably feel like they were lacking last season. I think it's a good look too. I think it'll be a good fit, and I get what you're saying. The comparison between the IT and the Kemba, of course, not saying that they're the same player, but yeah, I definitely think it'll be a good fit. But also, like you said, I really don't know what Kemba's looking for. Is Kemba content in Charlotte? There's been talks about trying to get Kemba to LA. All that hoopla out there as well. So I'm just ready for Sunday, so everything can just start just popping off, so I can figure out who's gonna be where. Like, this is the best time of the year.
For some.
Yeah.
I mean, you should eye him, but you gotta be careful because if you don't get him, you got Terry Rozier that's restricted. I just checked. He's a restricted free agent, so you probably would piss him off and then come back with nothing.
That's true.
And that's what
That's
I
a
was
good
thinking
point.
was, that's why I was thinking, like,
And he
if
already
anything,
pissed after last year, so.
ideally, if you could, to avoid that, possibly a sign and trade with them, right? If you can work that out, just because if you have cap space, it gets them out of cap hell, honestly, in Charlotte. They need to move something around. But like you said, you can't afford to whiff and then lose. Then you end up with no Kemba and no Terry.
Because he's been whiffing all offseason, AD and all that. He's been whiffing a lot, and you risking being back at the bottom and stuff like that. So you gotta approach it carefully. Check the polls, but if he ain't really committing quick enough, okay, well, Terry, we love you, baby. Come on, here's the bag, So go through with that. Here's one that hits close to home. Magic GM John Hammond. We have no idea when Markelle Fultz will play. He said on 96.9 the game. He was not playing some league with us. We didn't think there was any way that he was going to do that. We didn't plan on him doing that, so probably not the place for him right now. But overall, I can just say that he's doing well. He's working extremely hard. He's in good shape. His weight is good. His overall body fat percentage is very good. So if you look at him, you say, wow, he looks great. So it's just a matter of him continuing to get more comfortable and continuing for him to get himself in a position where he's ready to step on the floor and help us. And look, we have no idea when that's going to be. We're hoping much, much sooner than later. But once again, we're trying to do this the best we can, and that's had that word of patience. We want to have patience with him and get him ready and put him on the court when he can be most productive. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that's the only way you can after the debacle that happened with him out in Philly. Like, I feel like a lot of times people are just rushing to get these players on the court and not really focusing on them as a person. He's 21 years old. He has his whole playoff basketball career ahead of him. He's still very, very young. So it makes no sense to rush him back if he's not 100%. They could end up messing him up for his entire career, and that's not his dream. That's not, I'm sure, the NBA's dream for him as well. So I think that's the best way. He needs to take it day by day, take it, step by step, get his body back to 100%, and then get his mind back into the game as well, because I know that's probably a hard feat as well. But I think that's the best way to do it. Let him take his time, ease back in. There's no rush at this point. Like I said, he's 21. He has his whole basketball career ahead of him, and I just would hate for them rushing him back to ruin any type of chance that he would have to be great in the future.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. That's why I was happy initially when I found out he was going to Orlando, because not to say they're like Denver, but similar to the thing where they have patience. You don't have to rush. They've already had issues where Jonathan Isaac has already had deals with a rash of injuries already. Mo Bamba's dealt with a little bit as well. And what I like about Orlando is, despite, whatever external pressure might, convey what people would like to do, they don't care. They're literally just worried about the kids getting back to the court and being the best version of themselves. Like, they waited for Jonathan Isaac for a little while, and it paid off during that playoff run. So, he's in a good place. And I know some people are trying to say similar to, the Philadelphia thing, and I don't agree in the least bit. I just think it's a good situation. And then shout out to you. I know you posted the Iggy interview, Breakfast Club this morning. Just hearing Iggy talk about the mental health part of it. Yeah, just let him take his time and get back. Like, I think that's the biggest part of it is all this stuff that's happened, all this stuff. We all know everything the kid's been through or whatever. Let him get back. The physical part, I'm not really worried about.
Man, I just think the team playing damage control to protect them, which they should. It's just they can talk to them. They know they got an idea when they're gonna try to bring them back, but that don't mean that's the public's business. You see them when you see them. That's just real. They don't need to put everything out there, and we gonna let y'all just jump to y'all conclusions. We gonna just do what we do in house. Bottom line, I just hope he get back to form. I know a lot of people on the outside just want to jump on BS, man. He a bust, and he ain't that many damn people gonna be wrong though. We know what we saw, and we know we got it in him. I think a fresh start would be good, just to get away from the toxic. Even just what happened in Philly. Not even just that. Sometimes being at home is toxic. Then when people saying KD come on, like, bro, he would never have any peace. That I wouldn't even ask him to do that. It's just they're not, especially here. It's just no peace.
Different animal, yeah.
Yeah, so that the fact that he can, Philly ain't but a 2-hour drive, so for him to just get that far away where he could just kind of start fresh and be new, hey man, go ahead and handle your business, man. Get your mind right, and then when you step back on the court, be Mark Hill, and that's what I think they're hoping for, waiting for. Brad Beal last night at the award show said the Wizards told me they won't trade me. Said he heard from Scott Brooks, acting general manager Tommy Sherman, and owner Taylor Youngster that they all have told him we will not trade you. So Bill said they've been transparent. That's been great. They're not keeping me in the dark about anything, even about the trade rumors. It's great having that peace of mind. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's great, and I think that's admirable that these front office people are being transparent. I still always say you just always got to watch your own back. You think about what happened to DeMar. He was told the same thing. You won't be traded, so hopefully, not saying that this is the same situation, but I'm just saying, you always got to have your best interest at heart for yourself. So, but that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that your head coach, your front office, they want you there. So it's got to be a sigh of relief at some point, to yourself to know that, like, okay, they believe in me, they want me here for the long ride. They consider me part of this franchise. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, I don't know why anybody on God's green earth is thinking about trading Brad Beal anywhere. If you're a Washington Wizards fan, that makes no sense. So I'm glad he is happy that he has that consent, feeling with the front office and the organization and his coaching staff to feel like he's going to be here, and he should be here. He's proven why he should. He's gotten better every year that he's been here. He doesn't cause any drama. He comes in, he does his job. He's out there winning humanitarian awards, shedding a good light on the Washington Wizards as a franchise, giving back. So, it's a no-brainer to me. I don't know why that would even be a topic of conversation.
Just one of the things is noticeable different with the transparency. Since post Grunfeld or whatever. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we don't know. Yeah, it's a business. We never know what's going to end up happening. But yeah, at least to me, I believe it. It doesn't make sense to trade Brad unless you get somebody offers you what they got for AD. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of haul. Then I think even then it's a conversation like, hey, bro, like, okay. But yeah, for the Wizards at this time, it feels like they're trying to kind of reset and get this culture thing focused in the right direction. It just doesn't make sense to lose that piece or the other piece. Go ahead, Cardell.
I believe it because Tej is not the guy that bite his tongue. He ain't gonna lie. He tell it like it is. That's what a lot of people don't understand about him. The disconnect was the former GM not relaying all information to him.
Yep.
So when he finally got caught up to things, everything went to hell. So that's where that's at, and I think that's why he's more hands-on now, being around, just saying, nah, this is what it's going to be. I think Bill won't get traded unless he, requests to be traded. He's too valuable. He's not even in his prime yet. He's starting to enter it. Obviously, he's exactly what you want as a franchise guy, on and off the court. Like I said, he makes a difference without, disrespecting and calling out people in the trenches. Other people can learn from that who shall remain nameless, whatever. That's a whole nother conversation we will get into. He's just been ideal. I don't know if people haven't listened to the podcast with him and Keith Battle, the Wizards chaplain or whatever, a real respected pastor in the area. And just listening to that, you got even more of a glimpse of what makes him him. And I respect him more as a man, just off his, spiritual beliefs and being deeply spiritual, being involved with God and all that stuff like that. How his values as a man. So that reflects on him when it comes to basketball. You can't have one without the other. You can't be a messed up man and then expect to be a great basketball player. It don't work. It works hand in hand. So he's ideal, man. And I think that's kind of the reason why Ted didn't really just go all in and try to get a new gym, because they probably would have made that move just as, like a lot of guys be overzealous, come in, I'm gonna make my impact right now and stuff. I'm just boom, 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 just to say I'm a genius and all, though. It's like chill. And Wall's working to come back. You got a backcourt in a prime where if they could just stay healthy, that's a hell of a nucleus. And then in the meantime, why not just build around that so when they do become healthy, you back in business. Like the Wizards ain't as far off as people think. It's just that this area is just this area, man. It's just negative.
There was some foundational things put in place since.
Yeah, so and then look at it this way: after next season, it's going to be some bad contracts off the books. So you will have cap space to go after people potentially, and then they will still be here. So just relax, because even if they were healthy, the long shots of them beating Toronto or something like that with the current team is a long shot. So it's still been a playoff move. Just give it time, especially on the new GM and stuff like that, Tommy. Get these guys healthy, get them going, and then try to go for it strong when they both healthy. If they don't get it done, then you gotta do what you gotta do. So no, it's too premature to talk about that. Last question: Jacksonville Jaguars cornerback Jalen Ramsey made headlines last year, obviously criticizing a lot of quarterbacks. In a published interview with ESPN, Adam Schefter, he said he's not going to go down that road again. Adam Schefter asked him if he wanted to evaluate quarterbacks he would face in the 19th season. Ramsey passed. Only wanted to talk about Nick Foles. He said, "You want to do this again, huh? I'm not going to do this again." But we do play some good quarterbacks this year, of course. But probably the quarterback I'm most excited for is Nick. I don't have to play against him. Of course, he's my teammate. He's a great teammate. The few interactions we had has been great. Great man, great player as well. He has nothing to prove to anybody. He's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, carried the Eagles. So I hope he comes out here and he plays free.
I feel like you do
and
that
knows
in there.
No, it's a quote. I'm just saying. And knows he has the support of everybody. And he also said, "I'm growing, man. It's year 4 for me. It's a different me. A lot of people think they know me. They don't really know me, but hey, that's okay." But he made it clear also that his trash talking days aren't over. So, do you like the new Jalen Ramsey?
Man, we all know this is temporary, man. We're back in the bag.
I was about to say that's just because he did all that talking last year and they paying out that well for him.
I don't even think it's that. Like, if it wasn't contract time,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be saying, like, he'd have the same energy as last year.
This
This dude's been like this. He can't. This is him trying to keep him from messing up the bag. That's it.
Man.
As soon as the bag is secure, man, you gonna hear this. No one's even gonna have to ask him about the quarterback.
Like,
He
they
just gonna
trying.
stop. All of them.
Like, I mean, at least to me, I just feel like that's all that is, and I'm not mad at him. Get your bread together. Like, he had a couple quotes, I think like a week or two ago. It was like, yeah, I'm not giving him a discount. The price went up because we couldn't get a negotiation done.
Yeah.
Like, this
Patrick
really
Beverly saying the same thing in the NBA.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's just business. I got time for y'all. Like, look at my resume. We all know what I do. Y'all questioning about paying me. Y'all funny. Yes, no, I'm not gonna give you no headlines or nothing. So y'all can co-conspire, try to drop my price down. Nope.
I'm just gonna ball.
Yep. I'm gonna be quiet for this year. And that
Catch me
bag
next
is-
year though.
Like, look, soon as it gets,
Once the bag is secured,
the quotes out that press conference for the extension, whatever team he goes to, it's gonna be great.
he probably just gonna start. He probably gonna start tweeting as soon as he signs down the
The
line.
quotes gonna fly out. I've been holding these in for a year.
Yeah.
You know, so I
You're
mean,
trash. You're trash.
all of y'all except Nick. Unless he gets traded,
Oh,
you
that
know,
made me
you all-
sad.
He'd be all right, man. Want to thank y'all for tuning in. Nobody has time for empathy for the Eagles. We don't do that here
Made me sad.
at all. Who's Carson's backup again?
I don't know.
It's crazy. It's like this
I
second.
know who it is.
Ooh.
My man,
Ooh.
the Savior.
I don't talk about it.
See, she hating. That's all it is. You know what it is.
I tell you, who is it?
What's his name? Neil? Ain't his
I
name?
ain't say Neil.
Neil? What's his name?
We don't speak of him. So no.
Look, if history dictates, y'all will be speaking.
No, that's my point. If you don't bring it up, it won't happen.
If
Stop
history
speaking it
How
into
long you think?
existence.
About week 5?
Really?
I mean, what? I mean, look, we just having a conversation
Come
about
on,
your
I feel
Eagles,
like-
man.
you said 5?
About week 5?
I'm gonna take the over.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the over. Like week 8 tops.
Why y'all do me like
Like
that?
he doesn't see like.
I gotta see the
postseason
early
run.
part of that schedule. They play somebody tough, like a tough defense. Yeah, it'd be quick.
You know how
My
poetic it would be if my
gosh.
mom could get him out of there?
Oh, more than 49?
Man.
I don't even think we play y'all this year.
Huh?
I don't even think we play y'all this
I
year.
guess he gets to live then. I can't wait till he
We don't
goes.
play y'all this year. Trust me, I checked.
Hey, look, been like D sickle. Go get him, Mr. Ford.
Whatever.
Don't make that face.
Y'all so rude. I thought
Said
were
we
friends.
rude.
Yeah.
We are friends. That's why we say that.
Looking out.
You said week 5, right?
Yeah,
I got week 8.
That's terrible, y'all.
Trying we got.
That sounds like y'all are wishing my quarterback injury.
No.
Don't wish hurt on nobody.
No,
It just
ever.
sounds like you just
When I was-
not gonna make
Look,
it.
hold on.
Hurt
I would love for him to be healthy. I'm simply pointing out a trend
Yes.
in which we're referencing.
Why can't we start a new trend?
If a new trend is started, then we will reference
It
it.
is a new trend.
New trend.
Neil getting in the game. That's
It's
a new
Neil.
trend.
Hey, that's what we officially
That's
named
what I call
him.
his name
Hold
until
on.
he start balling.
Whole 2019 season.
His name is
Whoever-
Neil.
His name's Neil. Whoever the
Who
backup
is
quarterback, and Shaw's backup quarterback.
I can't with y'all.
Whether it's QB2 or
I
QB3.
I don't want to
it's
disrespect
Neil.
him, so his name Neil, but
Yeah. Neil
Yeah,
sa-
that is disrespect.
Hey,
he
Neil
don't know what he's talking about. He
Neil
don't know.
sounds like a good backup name. Maybe they can't say that we're picking on one or the other.
Yeah.
It's just Neil. Carson went down, here come Neil.
Y'all are ridiculous today.
Hopefully Neil can live up to what Nick did. See Neil, Nick. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Catch y'all a little bit later.
Y'all
Get over
pray
to
for me.
finestmag.com, momonosports.com. We got some DC United this week. We got some Mystics.
Mystic Suns at the Chicago.
Man.
Yeah, they got some
And
games.
Sunday was
Oh,
Pittsburgh,
Pitts and
yeah.
Boston League. I'm gonna be more. Yep. So whole area shut down for that. So yeah, definitely go out and also go check out the DMV live again. They got they doing it again for the live period for this weekend. If you didn't go, things like $10. It's worth it. You know, see the top programs in the area for sure.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week.